And we've covered everything from inflation to the deficit to jobless youth. Now we want to get to the Krugman conundrum, and we also want to get to your tweets that you've been sending us. First of all, sort of that conundrum that we were talking about earlier today, Adam and I. You know, you say you're a free market guy, but at the same time, you're also very much in support of government intervention. How do you justify the two? Because the markets are not a manifestation of divine will. They're something that is a very good way to organize an economy, but not a perfect way to organize an economy. And there are times when the markets fail. They fail on things like pollution. They fail on things like recessions and depressions. And those are the times when you need the government to step in. It's not, you can be, you know, John Maynard Keynes said he described his own position as moderately conservative. He wanted the government intervention that was necessary for the market economy to thrive, and that's what I want too. All right, let's get to some of these tweets. Our viewers have been pouring in here with questions for Professor Krugman. Let's just highlight a few here. At History Squared said, Krugman and Keynesian grand flaw is that they assume an unlimited appetite for debt and an unlimited appetite for a currency. What do you say about that? Well, I mean, no. I mean, get us out of this depression, and I'll become a deficit hawk. I actually was a deficit hawk during much of the Bush years. I remember you. I was saying, you know, we're doing these irresponsible tax cuts. We're doing these unfunded wars. This is a bad. We shouldn't be doing this. I've become a spend guy because we're in a depression, and once we're out, I'll change. So this notion, it's a kind of role reversal. All through the Bush years, you know, people like me were saying, hey, what are we doing? We can't afford this. And the people were saying, oh, deficits don't matter. Then those very same people are now accusing people of like me of being indifferent to the deficit. No, I mean, this is a very special time. Fortunately, we don't spend a lot of our time in depressions, but we're in one right now. Do you see yourself as partisan, or do you try and look at this all just through an economic lens? I try to do it. I mean, it's impossible not to have views on the political parties right now, right? And there is, in fact, nobody in the Republican Party who agrees with me, and not everyone in the Democratic Party, but some people do. But I'm trying to do, my view of how the economy works has evolved a little bit, but it's not very different. I'm drawing on stuff that I wrote 14 years ago on how to deal with the Japanese problem and applying it to America today. That's not partisan.
All right, Professor Krugman, another one. This is another tweet that just came in. You ready for this? Asset inflation is good for the 1%. It's bad, however, for consumers and for the world who buy food and gas. What do you say about that? Food and gas is not something that's being driven by Fed policy. Sorry, but Ben Bernanke doesn't have that much power. That's being driven by events in China, being driven by events in a large world economy. He actually doesn't even look at it, right? He looks at core inflation. Right, so. Whoa, hang on, because you do have, you know, gasoline, oil priced in dollars. So the more he prints, the more QE, the dollar goes down, and then the cost of oil goes up. But the dollar hasn't gone down. That's the amazing thing. You actually look at the dollar versus the euro, the dollar versus the yen. It has not, right? I mean, it has. In terms of the world's other major currencies, we have not had a big depreciation of the dollar. And in terms of this notion that printing money is only for history says it's not true. History says that a regime of moderate inflation is actually better for workers than what we've got right now. The notion that it's all for the rich, and actually, you know, think about who is on which side here. Right? The Wall Street Journal editorial page is dead set against QE. Do you think that the Wall Street Journal, you know, really has it in for the holders of assets? And do you think that I really want to support them? Come on, look at the politics here, and that'll give you a pretty good clue to where the economics really is. So at Subhatist, did I say that right? I think so. I hope they don't hate us. Okay. Fed's inflation target is low. So is Paul, are you, a big advocator of QE3 and QE4, 5, 6? I mean, how much do we need? No, QE, well, this is Ben Bernanke, 2000, saying we need enough until we've solved the problem. So QE3, I'm skeptical about how much leverage you get from big bond buys, but they do something, and sure, I mean, what more would you? Inflation, by the Fed's preferred measure, is running below target. Unemployment is way above target. Why shouldn't the Fed try whatever it can to try and get some purchase on the economy? 6 months out, where's unemployment? I think it's down a bit. I think the economy is growing weakly, but I think there's a pent-up demand for labor because there was so much shedding of labor during the slump. So I think we get some reduction in unemployment, though I'm not sure of that, but nothing dramatic. GDP?
We seem to be in a kind of a two plus range. You know, who knows really? But we're growing. I think there are some fundamental factors driving the economy, which could be screwed up by events. But I think we do have the makings of a slow, spontaneous recovery out there.
So no double dip scenario for you.
You know, I wouldn't say not. I mean, I wouldn't say it can't happen. That's not my most likely outcome.
Okay. We're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Our guest host for the Street Smart program today, Paul Krugman. We just want to point out your book, of course, End This Depression Now. It is out today. You can pick it up today on bookstore shelves. Thank you so much.